All right, everybody, welcome back to Put Up or Shut Up, Episode 6. I'm your host, Stunna. I'm joined with some familiar faces this time around. We've got Mr. Josh Nassan. How you doing, Steele?
I'm doing well on yourself.
Feeling fabulous. Just took a shower. I'm glad you could ask. Duncan Thorin Shields, per usual.
All right.
The usual suspect.
Absolutely.
And Mr. DeBears. Hello, Eric.
Oi, how's it going?
All right, it's going, my friend. You guys ready to do this thing?
Yeah. I was
All right.
born ready. No, I wasn't born ready. But I'm ready.
All right. So, the first question we're going to go with today, the biggest surprise or disappointment of Dreamhack Las Vegas. And to kick this episode off, I'm going to give it over to Mr. Steele. Take it away, sir.
I said Gambit. Sorry, do I go on and tell you why?
Nope, you sure don't. Next victim, Thorin, come on down.
Okay, I'm going to say mouse sports.
What?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
And Eric, who do you got?
I went with Optic Gaming. That's the biggest disappointment for me.
Okay, well, we're going to start the timer here. It's going to be an open debate between all of you, 4.5 minutes on the clock, and go.
So the reason why I picked Optic Gaming, I thought they'd lose a step. Losing Stanislaw, getting Hiko, but I didn't think they'd lose that big of a step. They played pretty bad. Really, really bad. And so I had a little higher expectations for them. It's gone.
It's a compelling argument. That's a compelling argument.
Optic Gaming lost their in-game leader and finished third in a group in which they were the third best team. I'm not really sure what the disappointment is there. Okay, if anything, they performed better than expected Bears because they actually beat North in a map. Admittedly, it was Inferno, but after that, got wrecked in the best of three. So I think Optic Gaming is right where they probably should have been. I don't think anyone in the universe, even in complexity members, in their heart of hearts, thought they were finishing above Optic. And then Steele's pick was Gambit. Okay, the problem with the Gambit one is I actually think Gambit's about where most people probably would have had them. It might have been a surprise that they got beat VP, but then again, VP gave them their best map. And then getting to the round of 8, that's where they got to at the major. They lost here to North. So that's about where they should be. Whereas for me, Mouse Sports, you look at that group there, there's easily a world where Mouse Sports doesn't even get out that group. FaZe could have beaten them. Then you go and you look in the actual playoffs, they almost beat VP on a map because Nico went completely super duper ham, to a level you couldn't expect. So I think I win.
I love how you just completely write me off.
You
You don't even give me a chance to give my argument or anything.
Oh,
You just completely write it off completely. You're like, okay. Oh yeah, well, yeah, Gambit, they beat VP, yeah, but who cares about that? You just completely put that under the carpet, it's not a feature at all. And then they beat Fnatic as well. It's well, Fnatic's just this new the old super team that's newly formed, so who cares because they haven't put up any results at all yet. But I mean, even their loss to North, they played VP and North, two of the teams that were in the semifinals there, or at least top 4. But not only that, they beat VP, the team that won the event, and they put up double digits against North and pushed them overtime in one of the maps. And one of those maps, I saw your nice video about that too, about they lost it because they screwed up that one round. They could have won 16-14.
I'm not
Gambit
sure
on Inferno.
That's someone else's video.
Maybe it was on that topic. It doesn't matter.
That's got to go against you because that video doesn't exist.
That goes against me. Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
And also, I've got to add in, losing to someone who finishes top 4 is usually a condition to finish 5th to 8th in a tournament. I know from being from NA, usually group stages where you guys finish, not a lot of progressions going forwards there. Who beats who cares at that point? It's the after party, right? But I'll have to say that Gambit, I think everyone would have them 5th to 8th in the world right now. I think that's pretty solid placing. So I'm not really sure what the huge surprise was. Because the key to me is they got their best map by VP. VP actually unnecessarily gave them that map. They could have played something else. I forget which the other one was. It might have been Train or something. And basically Gambit even said we thought it was going to be Train and VP just gifted us this map. So I think when you add in that context, it's not as crazy that they could win on a map they're actually undefeated on. I think they've gone 13-0 on it now or something. So pretty good record there. Bears, do you actually have any points to make here, mate? You want to jump in?
I mean, I was actually so caught off by that Mouse Sports pick that it kind of threw me off the rail a little bit there. I didn't expect that come from Thorin.
Essentially, I surprised you with my pick. So I actually have won the question, most surprising one of the Dreamhack, because I've even surprised you.
I mean, all those months of just hating Mouse Sports, and then you just pick them out. I'm lost for words right now. I'm speechless.
They finished above Na'Vi, that team that you alternate between calling the worst ever if it's a question about the worst, or the team that's going to win the fucking event if it's some crazy pick for that. So
I lost faith in Navi. I'm sorry. I can't watch them anymore. It's too hard. It hurts.
They're pretty bad.
Mixing it up. I mean, that's all I have for this question. Like I thought Optic, I thought they could at least do 16-14 if they were losing. Okay, it wasn't even close. It was like 16-2. Some of the rounds they lost. This losing ecos, and it hurts. I just don't want to see.
They don't have an in-game
Wait,
leader. What do you expect?
I
They
mean,
have no in-game leader.
yeah, but they could at least pick up a little bit, right? They have a strat they could always go, fall back onto, and I don't know.
Yeah, the problem is though they had the world champions in their group, Astralis, and then the other team was North, who just didn't upgrade.
Okay, as if Duncan needed any more time to really nail this point home. I don't think that neither Eric or Josh can tell me they're worthy of the point here in the opener.
No.
I'm thoroughly
Thorin
disappointed
just
in both
wanted
of you.
to talk, so I just gave him the stage. But then again, that's what he always does. So
Listen,
I had a little bit of
what
a
I do.
paragraph prepared though to talk on behalf of Gambit, but yeah, I know.
Hey, you had that video though. So you
Okay.
had the video.
You had the
that I
video,
guess
yeah.
doesn't-
Wait,
doesn't
no, didn't you
exist.
do a video on like that could have been or something? Like something where it's like, oh, this could have happened, or we could have had a different result.
yeah, there was
like
one
this,
called Should Have, right?
yeah.
The problem is
that-
though, you referenced it like you were talking about the actual game, though. That's what was confusing. Like I thought you meant I did a video about that game at the tournament.
Oh no, I know that you had this theory even back to like when I was playing with Daze, because he used to do that all the time and used to say, "What the fuck? Like you can't have that mentality."
Yeah, you can't. So
Okay, well, you know what else isn't a good mentality? A loser mentality. And that's what I just saw from you, Eric. That's what I just saw from you, Josh. You guys bowed out so gracefully, just totally flatlined halfway through that. Not a problem. I think we all know and who's getting this point. So welcome to the game, Duncan. You get point number 1. Let's move on to the next question. Not a big deal. Individual breakout performance of Dreamhack Las Vegas. Duncan, you know what? You won the last point. You probably win this one too. Let's see what happens. You go first.
no bias, right? I'll say Oscar from Mouse Sports.
Okay, Eric.
This is a tough question because a lot of the players, it's like hard to just pick out a player that hasn't
Here
done
we
well.
go. Fucking hell. All right. Come on.
I picked Fur. I picked Fur from SK.
All right, and the only guy left.
Adren from Gambit.
All right, well, I'm sure this is going to be a barn burner of a contest here. So let's start the clock at 4.5 minutes and go.
So the problem with this one is when you say individual breakout means you broke out of something, as in you were trapped in something or you hadn't gotten past something and you have now broken out. Therefore, it doesn't really make sense to include people who have already broken out. No one breaks out and then goes back into prison willingly. So in this scenario, the problem with their
What if we're
answers
talking
is
about like acne?
while fantastic, he's definitely Adren's got the most breakout in that sense.
Oh,
But if we're talking
jeez.
about he actually doesn't have acne though. He just has holes in his face where the acne used to be. So now it's break in, if anything. So that's one answer. So here's the thing, okay, is that in terms of Eric's pick, which was, let me think, Fur. Now, Fur used to be one of the best players in the world in 2015. So I think he more than broke out in the past, and he was a monster at the major, actually. And then speaking of which, Adren probably had his best ever event at the major. So that was the event before. He already broke out the pen. He isn't back in prison still. Whereas Oscar was a good tier 2 player, and he had a big couple of maps at this tournament against tier 1 opposition. Sounds like it fits the criteria for a breakout player.
But wasn't Oscar already considered a breakout player? That's how he got his position on Mouse Sports to begin with, because he was a breakout player beforehand. Otherwise, Mouse Sports wouldn't even considered him. North American teams at the time wouldn't have considered, maybe we should go looking at Oscar to pick him up. So if you want to go by that logic, all the players that were at this tournament have already broken out.
That's why it's a tricky question. Now,
It
the
is
thing is,
tricky.
actually, Oscar hadn't broken out at tier 1. As I said, he'd broken out at tier 2. Now, he never really had like a top level LAN.
Okay.
Meanwhile, North American teams go and
Their
recruit
tiers
players
to
like
breaking
Def
out.
from the UK. Therefore, I have now proven that they do not always go for players who've broken out, because Def hasn't even broken out of his mother's womb as a Counter-Strike player. Never mind Counter-Strike tournaments.
Well, he's a UK player, so I mean, he's got
Exactly.
that stacked
UK on
against
UK
him.
crime. That's fine. I can do that.
So to kind of put it on your point, Thorin, how Fur was the best player. Well, he's been kind of hibernating a little bit. He came back. He's been doing what he's what he did with SK, he's one of Fallen's wings. All right, he flies him around. He's helping out. He's covering Taco every way that he can. I mean, he was a monster this tournament. I thought he was one of the main successes for why SK did so well.
Okay, so he was a wing, he was a bird flying around, and he was a monster. Now, the visual poetry is fantastic. But what does that have to do with breaking out as a Counter-Strike player?
Because it's there's not everyone in this tournament is pretty much, other than Oscar, has broken out before. So I got creative
wait a
here,
minute,
okay?
wait a minute, Eric, you are conceding that everyone except my pick has broken out in this tournament before, and my pick's
actually, he
broken
didn't
out
say
now.
that. He said everyone at this tournament, including your pick, has.
No, he said except.
Everyone. I said everyone in this tournament.
Everyone who's watching on YouTube, replay that, and if I'm right, tweet me. And if Bears is wrong, tweet him hate. Send him hate on Twitter.
I don't want to be wrong now. Now I'm gonna get thrown up on this one.
Come on, Steve.
Hey, well, my argument for Adren is that like nobody's really looking at Gambit to be doing anything. It's just like Gambit's one of those teams that's just around. They're not like everyone's talking about VP because they're winning everything right now. Everyone's talking about SK, the Brazilians. Everyone's talking about the new French super teams, Fnatic, all the Danish teams. No one's thinking about Gambit. Who cares? And then Adren has this monster match against VP. And he's got like a couple of like huge 1v3s. And these 1v3s, they make it to Reddit. And if we all know something, if a clip makes it to Reddit, it means something. Or it's Shroud.
Yeah, it means Shroud turned his stream on. Or Jay is complaining again. So, I mean, it feels like you just eroded your own point. You were making such a good point, and at the end, you put in NA players who are relevant. We all know that.
Wait, I didn't say anything about NA players. Oh, I said Shroud because of Reddit.
Oh, yeah, he is Polish. You're right. My bad.
Yeah, that's you. Yeah,
I think Adren's a good player. I thought he did well from the last tournament, though.
Adren is a good player, isn't he? But he didn't really break out because he's already broken out. He's very much. Listen, as far as coming out goes, he's Freddie Mercury at this point, boys. So he's not breaking out of anything, okay? He doesn't want to break free. He's not under pressure. He's just showing you a little. It's a kind of magic, okay?
So you could say
Flash.
another one bites the dust?
Exactly.
Man, you know what? I know we're just going to let the timer run out on this one because it was just a little ruthless there on the Adren behalf. Jesus Christ almighty, Thorin.
Why does he go so personal? I don't get it.
I mean, at this show, you can do that.
It's a
all right, I'm going at this ginger fuck then.
All right, perfect. Outstanding. Well, you know what? I'm going to go with the sentiment that Mr. Nassan is right about Reddit. If it makes the Reddit, it means something, right? I think. But Thorin's just a little salty.
I mean,
because,
at this point, that is his mantra in
time.
life, to be fair. That's what gets him through every day.
Wow, okay.
Well, congrats on the point.
Hey, take the bottom of that scarf.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? We're going to give it to Steel. There it is. Steel, welcome to the game.
Glad to be here.
Thorin,
it's been really fun.
Yeah, you know, I mean, shit at this point. You know, Thorin is absolutely in a different mode today. I'm not sure that I'm prepared for the rest of this episode. But we will get into the third question. With Nico finally getting the justice within the Mouse Sports situation he was in, let's name a player who deserves a better team around him. And let's start with you, Josh.
I said Stu TK.
Okay. And Mr. Duncan.
I've got Scream.
Okay. And last but not least,
I picked Elige.
all right.
Did it out loud?
Okay. 4.5 minutes on the clock. Let's see what happens here.
All right.
Go ahead, guys.
Okay, let me start this one off.
Whoa.
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you.
No, you go. I'm kidding. Stewie has basically committed his life to CS at this point, and you can find him playing pretty much all the time. And it's not just dicking around on stream; it's actual like productive hours so that he can improve. His new player, he secured himself a spot on a top NA team, so whatever that means. But it feels like he's one of maybe a few players on that team that's actually hungry to win. It's almost like CS is a race, and the rest of his team's just happy to be participating in the race, while Stewie wants to win it. So if a player's putting that much time, sweat, and energy into becoming a better player, and that's not matched by their team, they're just being held back and let down.
Okay, so my problem with that, in terms of Stewie, is that he already has an exact lineup around him that won a tier 1 event, a 250k or more tournament, ESL Pro League Season 4, the best accomplishment in the history of North American Counter-Strike. So if he has a team that can do that, how could he need a better team around him? Not only that, he's the shot caller of it. Also, just as a side point, you actually made the analogy that CS is like a race and they're all losing around him. So you want all the rest of a losing race to be eliminated. That is just disgusting. I don't even know how you can make that sort of an argument.
Yeah, no,
I'm not going to listen to that sort of rhetoric. Meanwhile, Scream last year had one of the best individual years of anyone. But, you know, he was playing with Smiths, who's obviously a fucking pod bot. He was playing with RPK, who was an old man waiting to go back to become a mechanic again. And he was playing with Body, who at this point is just a body. He's just a 5th person because you need 5 to play the game. But Scream has the talent where if you put the right French lineup around him, this guy, he could win a major. This guy could shine. And now he's stuck in Envious playing with Happy, who is a master beta, and then some people that none of us have even heard of.
Didn't you just beat G2 though?
That's online. No one cares about this.
No one cares online. It just happens, you know. We just push it under the rug. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it
NRG won online games. What are you talking about?
Well, they somehow won a couple LAN games here and there.
Come on, Bears. Hit me with something.
Okay, I picked Elige because they have a lot of people on their team with skill. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's beyond that now. I know you're kind of thinking, oh, skill, it's funny, NACS. Whatever, Thorin. But I'm just saying, I think it's a mental thing now. I think it's the combined mental attitude of the team. They always seem to just drop the ball. They get up and then they lose, or it's got to mix it up. And I think Elige is one. Though.
Here's the difference. Everyone else on Elige's team wants to actually win. Everyone else on Stewie's team doesn't actually care about winning. They're just like, yeah, we're just gaming. We're having a good time. We're having a jolly old time.
Bears literally did it again. I don't know how he does this. It's like Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again.
Just throwing the point.
He picked the moment at which Elige actually has a real in-game leader. Not only that, probably NA's best in-game leader, along with mad talent.
Not the whole
around
team.
him as the moment at which Elige should have a better team put around him. Like, that's like you just get a new Mazda 6 and you're like, oh, get a Ford Fiesta. That's way better. It's like, it doesn't make any sense, does it, Bears? Meanwhile,
let's keep
Steele says that the rest of Stewie's team don't want to win and they don't care in that sense. I actually tried to get some of those players cut Steele. It was Stewie and others who were standing up for them. He doesn't even agree.
Do you know why? Stewie's a new player. He looked up to these guys when he was getting into the scene. He doesn't have what it takes to fucking just be like, you know what? Like, I've gotten to the point where this is ridiculous. I'm done looking up to you guys. Okay. Like, I'm at this point where I want to go and progress and move forwards. And you've been stagnant at this spot for the last few years. You've just been sitting here, just hovering around. You have like a breakout performance here. You might do well here. The rest of it is just shit performances, shit results, right?
Okay.
And then, oh, okay, they won EPL Season 4 or whatever. It's like, great. Where's the rest of their consistent results? They couldn't even qualify for the major. So you're just holding it up here, but it's like, where's the consistency in the results? They don't have
Stewie himself won't even say anything publicly. And listen, Stunner will tell you, Cloud9's a fantastic organization. They're doing everything they can. But here's the thing. Scream himself knows he hasn't got a good enough team around himself because he wants to be in G2, has actively alluded to as much, and in fact made it sort of his mission to beat them so he can prove he should be in it. He's actually sort of proving with his life he should be in a better team. And De Beers has just lost the plot completely. I just want to make that a final statement.
Wait.
So point here.
The difference is, like, Scream's trying to get into a better team, but no one wants him. Stewie's not trying to get into a better team. I think that's the problem.
Who wants him though? I mean, no one's making offers. So that's the time anyway. So
that's the time.
Look, we're on that last word mentality, huh, Duncan? Is that how we're operating today?
Definitely not. It's just a coincidence, guys.
That's a no soul move. So. Yeah.
It's weird how that works out. Eric, I don't know where you're at in that question, man. I need you to come out with a little more hot fire there.
I'm cold. I'm cold right now. I don't know.
You got to warm up, boy.
Some not clicking. Let's go.
You better find the bullpen. You better find it real fast.
Drinking like pre-workout or something. Like, I've never seen so much testosterone in my life.
Thorin is enthusiastic as hell today.
Exactly.
But you know what? Like, at the end of the day, man, this is just such a bukkake of a fucking question right here because it's just ridiculous.
Or a former C9 stunner. What do you think?
Look, I'm not commenting on the C9 organization. I'm not commenting on any of that. That's not going to happen. But I will talk a little bit about their lineup. Stewie's got that drive. He's got that ambition. Does Stewie need better players around him, or does Stewie need to step up and be that huge leader that he should be within, like the North American scene itself, right? So think about that. Not in-game leader, but actual, like, overall, like some sort of force like that. Doesn't matter. I think. I mean, fuck, it's even hard to give you a pity point on this one, Eric. Fuck. Dude.
No, don't give me no. I don't want no freaking pity points. You know, I want to earn my 0 points. Okay. I don't like this handout system in America anymore. I don't get last place ribbon. Okay, I lose. I'm out. I'm dumb. It should have me more drive to enable me losing. It gives me drive to do better next time. If you hand me a ribbon, you hand me a token. It's just it will numb me.
I wish Shroud had your mentality.
Jesus.
I mean, you gotta keep trying harder. So don't give me no pity. I don't want it.
All right. Well, you're not going to get it. We're going to give it to Steel. That's how I feel about the situation. Steel steals away a point. Ha, 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 ha. All right. We're moving on to the next question. We're going to move on to Katowice now. Who will be the surprise team of IEM Katowice? And we're going to start with you, Josh.
I said Fnatic.
Okay. Duncan.
Immortals.
All right. And the Bears.
Picked FaZe.
Okay, well, 4.5 minutes. You guys know the drill. Start it up.
Let me ask you something, Thorin, real quick. Do you think Fnatic's going to win?
I don't think they're going to win the tournament now.
Yeah, so they'll be the surprise team. Let's go. It might not seem like it, especially with recent results.
Do you think Immortals is going to win?
Yeah.
Well, then you're an idiot.
Well, then you can lost the point. So
I think with
wait a minute.
Only point.
Wait a minute. So you think they're going to win, but actually at the moment they're not in any way favored to win. Therefore, you actually are predicting they will actually win and they will be the surprise. So you've actually I think made my point for me. So.
I think Fnatic will do really well. Okay. Oh, you were talking about Immortals there?
Yeah, you said Immortals. You've essentially suggested they're going to be the surprise. I told you yours wasn't.
I think Immortals is going to go really deep.
Okay.
Maybe 6 inches, but
that is the rumor about one of them.
I think the only way that they advance is because they're in the easier of the two groups over here. As they got Fnatic and Nip, who aren't playing too hot lately. So that's whatever. And they have Optic, as you said, in shambles. Thorin, their in-game leader's gone. They're dead. They're gone. Yeah. Who knows? So I think Immortals will probably advance. That's not a surprise, but I want my surprise for FaZe getting top 3. I want them with Nico to just propel themselves in a new way that they've never been before.
Okay, let's be real. Immortals literally lost their best player. Phelps was the most skilled player on that team. He's the one that people tipped for the top a while ago. And they got FNX, a player who's actually playing quite poorly at the end in SK Gaming. But we've already seen FNX remotivated. He looks good from the initial first games. Obviously, space has opened up for him in the team. And I think if you look at this group is actually set up for them to get out. NIP in really bad form. Fnatic, Steel's pick, he actually even said already that they're like the super team, we've done nothing. So apparently for him, it was like big that like Gambit got out ahead of him. So he even knows they're not doing well. I don't know why he's picked them as his team here. FaZe is a team where...
That's how surprises happen.
On paper,
everyone's writing them off. They're like, okay, we don't expect Fnatic to do anything. We expect them to lose.
So your principle for a surprise is that even you can't know why they're going to do it. Therefore, if they do, then you win. Well, unfortunately, the episode isn't going to be next week. It's this week, isn't it? So we've got to go for what's likely. So you've obviously validated your point. Now, FaZe has Nico. Okay, great. Star player could all work out. But you know what? Sometimes you put a star player on a good team, they get worse. Like
you can't get worse with Nico on your team. I mean, you can't get worse. I mean, look at Mouse Sports. He was literally carrying them on just a thread against top tier 1 teams by himself. But go ahead.
Okay. I mean, you definitely can get worse by adding star players. It happened a number of times.
So wait. So what's your argument for Immortals right now?
That the rest of the group is actually reasonably weak. Therefore, I think that they can get out of the group. And here's the key thing. If you get out in a top 2 placing, you get a better first round opponent in the next bracket. Like if you win the group outright, which is obviously going to be tough, you get to the semis. If you get top 2, then you play the 3rd place team from the other group. So in that world, you could be playing like North, Na'Vi, teams that actually are like a bit shaky. So then that's a potential semi-final. Now, I don't know anyone before this tournament who would have said just on the isolation, Immortals top 4 this tournament. But I've just kind of explained how there's a potential scenario going to open up where they could do so.
So you think Immortals can do something despite losing Phelps, their best player, and picking up FNX from
because I just
SK?
explained. I actually think FNX is going to be a lot better.
Because
he's already
you see,
shown.
like when I look up the definition of surprise, which is what you did with the other question, unexpected or astonishing event factor thing. So you're writing.
So how
off
is
Fnatic,
one of the best lineups in the history of Counter-Strike getting back together going to be a surprise?
Lately. They haven't been doing anything at all. But Immortals, you're talking about how Immortals has kind of been on the up and up right now. So it's not going to be a surprise if they're looking like they're getting.
They haven't played any LANs together with FNX yet.
So they've been playing online.
So was Fnatic. They've won a few games online. I still don't really understand the distinction here.
Fnatic went to LANs and lost, right?
Right. So because a team has only shown us themselves losing offline, that means you can now pick them as a surprise to win because why?
It's unexpected. You expect them to keep losing right now. You expect them forming back together and getting the super team back together.
So you actually thought the way to win this question was to give the most unexpected answer. It's supposed to be one that wouldn't expect, but you can argue in favor of.
This super team got back together. Everyone thought they were going to do well, right?
They didn't.
They didn't.
No.
They haven't had any success.
They probably
They've had poor
right?
performances. That's
probably
the surprise. If they do here, that'll be the biggest surprise.
I think the biggest surprise will be Bears winning this point after not answering any of the questions, sitting there in silence, listening to us.
But will it be a surprise though? Let's be realistic here.
Let's see what happens. He's trying to make it hard for you, Stan. I can't lie.
I guess so, man. Good Lord. I think he's trying to expose the system here, and I'm really not feeling that, Eric. You know what, Eric? I'm gonna give you one shot at this. I'm gonna give me something, Eric. Close this fucker down.
Listen, you guys, you got Immortals. They're all right. They're an easy group. They might advance, but that's not a surprise. They're an easy group. Fnatic, they're on the
Fizz is in the same group.
I'm a little split about
Thorin. Hold on. Go ahead, Eric. Go ahead.
I was like, Fnatic. Half the people in CS expect them to be awesome again. The other half think they're dog shit. So I don't know. It's not surprisable whatever they do to me. I mean, it's hard to pick because you kind of expect them to do well, but you don't. It's a weird conundrum. I don't know the scientific term for that.
If they did.
I mean, I'd be like, yeah.
And
whatever. FaZe. I mean, they got Nico. I want to see them do well. I think they'll do well with Nico. You can't get that much worse by adding Nico to your team. He's one of the top 3 players in the world. You can't. I know you got this whole superstar mentality. Hey, they can't get any worse.
There's no more bullets in that gun, is there? There's no more bullets.
I'm shooting.
It's click at this point.
I'm shooting blanks.
Oh my God. All right. Well,
Nico's gonna surprise everyone like that 37 frag game that he had.
He destroyed Virtus Pro by himself. Literally, he went in bomb site by himself. Okay, guys, you guys wait A.
So we're gonna be surprised coming up this week because
you're gonna be surprised when he won on Thorin.
Okay.
Immortals, all right? How about that?
Right Eric, there. Man, I'm trying so hard. I really am hoping that any second now you're going to come out with a sentence and it's going to be the one. It's going to be the one to nail it home. And I think the one going into bomb sites by yourself, I think that's actually a sentence. Let's go ahead and give the Bears the point. We're going to move this into the next person that gets a point moves on to the playoff round. Go figure that. What you got, Thorin? I see you might want to comment on the current situation. Nope. All right. Moving on. Okay, let's go to the last question of I guess we call it we could call it regulation, right? Not a big deal. Last question, top 2 from this point go forward. What top team is most likely going to be upset and bow out early at IEM Katowice? My bad. And you know what, Eric? Hold up. You're ruining your own surprise there. Thorin's already calculating in his head what he's going to respond to that with. So, Eric, what's your pick?
I picked Team North.
Okay, Thorin.
Okay, I took Fnatic.
And Josh, you've got Navi, I'm sure.
I got Navi, yep.
All right, boys, 4.5 minutes. Good luck.
All right, I'm just going to talk about Group B real quick, Thorin, before you start talking, because you're not going to stop. So Group B is Virtus Pro, one of the best teams in the world, if not considered the best right now. SK, one of the best teams in the world, if not the best team right now. North. So these teams are all finished in the top 4 at the last event, Dreamhack Las Vegas. And then they have Cloud9, Superstardom team. They won ESL Pro League Season 4. It's a top team. Navi's in this group, the group of death, arguably, because all the other in Group A, you have only Astralis as like a really top pick, and then maybe FaZe, maybe Immortals. So Navi's in this really difficult group, and they haven't really been meshing well with this new roster. Simple hasn't really been able to make a change in the team, whether it be because of just him himself or external factors, doesn't matter. It's a group of death, though, so they're going to bow out early.
So here's the problem. I don't think you can actually call Na'Vi a top team anymore. They haven't placed top 4 at a big LAN in something like 6 months. As you just described, 3 of the teams in their group, and only 3 get out, placed ahead of them, top 4 at the last LAN, which would suggest they were never getting out anyway, in which case they'll probably finish 4th, which is where you'd expect them to. So I don't think they qualify as a top team anymore. Meanwhile, the team that I went with, which is, of course, the guys from Fnatic. Now,
wait.
This
you
is
call
quite
Fnatic a top team when you just mentioned that point about
I didn't win that point,
his?
Bez, so that was ruled incorrect. So if you can let me continue, please. So actually, Fnatic, some people expect them to be good. Like Steel actually picked them as a team that are going to surprise and win the event. So clearly, they've gotten together again. They've got the lineup together. In theory, they could be considered a top team. The core of the team still made top 4 at the last major. They've got all these talented players. They've gone out in the group stage so rarely in their careers. Last time was like one of the rare times they've ever done it. Then you got to add in, this is such a weak group. In theory, they should be able to get out. But I actually think you look at all these different teams, such diversity. You've got teams from Brazil, Europe, North America. You've got the world champions there. There's lots of ways you can lose here. And Fnatic at the moment has this super thin map pool where I could easily see them
hypocritical. I can't get over how hypocritical this is.
I'm here to win.
You're saying
not to have integrity.
You're
okay?
saying Na'Vi
I'm like Tom Brady. I'm here to win.
You're saying
not have
Navi's
integrity.
not
Okay.
considered a top team because they haven't won anything in the last 6 months. But then you said Fnatic is a top team because they did 2 years ago.
Top 4 at the major. They had top 4 at the major with half the team.
Okay, with half the team, so it wasn't the same team.
Still half
Now I'm
the
looking
team,
at your February 9th, 2017 world rankings, and you have Na'Vi in the top 10. Fnatic are in the top 10. They're at 9th and 10th position, so they would both be considered top teams.
Who was above the other one?
Fnatic was above Na'Vi. It doesn't matter.
Oh, right. In that case, Fnatic is more of a top team, and I'm saying they definitely won't get out.
Oh, yeah, they're more
in
of a top
group
team
as well.
Okay.
So
True,
actually,
yeah.
thanks for the backup there with the evidence. Like we can
they're in a
source
weaker
that as well.
group.
That's sourced.
They're in a
so
weaker
that's
group,
got a citation.
and they're a better team. So they're
in
less
a
likely
weaker
to bow out
group.
early.
No, but they're gonna though. I'm telling you. Like this is the reason why, because they have a razor thin map pool. There's so many diverse opponents they can't have prepared for. They're not famous for
I haven't
preparing
seen
a
anyone
lot.
backpedal
Play
so. You should
freestyle.
join the Olympics, dude.
Listen, mate. As long as I win that gold medal, I'll pump all the steroids I need, mate. You just keep that
Looks
judge
like you've
looking the
already
other
started.
way. So,
What's that? If you're not cheating, you're not trying. Is that
exactly.
That's how it goes. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And you know, I picked North. They're as you guys made point before, Na'Vi, VP, SK. I think those are going to be the top 3 coming out of A. And North, they're kind of hit or miss sometimes. They've been doing well lately, getting top 3, top 4, but I feel like out of Na'Vi, I think Navi's going to have a little chip on their shoulder. They're going to play a little better than they usually have. Obviously, it's not the skill that's holding them back. I think it's more of a mental.
Wait.
Why you saying
mental
Na'Vi?
thing.
What the fuck's it got to do with Na'Vi? Okay.
Do you really think that North is more hit or miss than Na'Vi is currently?
North has never failed to make it out of a group stage since I think Pro League. I think that was the last one.
Actually, in a sense, he's right because Navi's only miss. There's no hit or miss. It's just miss. So in a sense, he is right.
So Na'Vi misses all the time, but they're a top team.
Well, according to you, they're a top team.
What do I know about it? I don't even play Counter-Strike, remember? Everyone knows I know nothing. So you're sourcing me on your answer. I'm only sourcing myself when I'm correct.
Quote this, put it to Reddit. Also, Twitch.tv.
That's time.
Lord Almighty. You know, technically speaking, Eric would get the point based off of failures that should be going to Katowice. But Duncan on his Red Bull today, or whatever it is that's in that cup of water, it might just be pure vodka. It just got him fired up at this point. Like, who knows? I gotta go with Mr. Shields in this one. Obviously,
I've seen rigged games before.
Have you?
This is not rigged. I played bad today. He deserves it. He deserves it, guys. I didn't bring my A game.
So I mean, there it is. I'm going to give that point over to Thorin. It is what it is. We're going to move on into the more faster paced part of the show, the sort of rapid fire playoff to determine the winner here between Steel and Thorin. And we'll get that started right now. The way this will work is I'll say a question. You'll then answer. Whoever answers first, they'll have that choice. If you both answer the same thing, then whoever got second pick has to change their answer. So going forward with the first question, with Inferno entering competitive play, what part of the map would you tweak if you had the power?
Okay, I'll say the boiler room area.
I'll say banana.
Still. Okay, well, so 30 seconds on the clock. Thorin, give me what you got.
Okay, so the problem with the boiler room area is it feels like at the moment the CTs can't really push up so much at the A site. A lot of the time they're just waiting, and they're just waiting to see if they have any information. And at best, they hope they get comms from the banana. So the problem is that area is now way more exposed because they took away that wall where before you went by it and you had to go in the little door to come to the window at second mid. So I feel like that area right there is just going to make it like it's just essentially going to make it too imbalanced for the CTs to get the info. And what used to make Inferno one of the best maps, one of the most even maps, is that you could always make information plays.
And almost on the dot with time. I'm actually impressed. Thorin's not the type to end on the timer or anywhere near around it. So, Josh, what do you got?
That's what my bitch
30
says.
Hold up, Josh. 30 seconds on the clock and go.
Banana's still got loads of gimmicks, and as we see in Inferno over the course of years, it's always that you have to shift and allocate more resources to holding the A bomb site, and it's a lot easier to lock down banana. Banana, it's a narrow choke point. You can smoke down deep. You can do these pop flashes. You have incendiaries. You can take a lot of control of it, and then you can use all sorts of gimmicks and slow down the enemy push. And it's a lot easier to retake as well than it is to retake the A bomb site. If the terrorists get A, they have pit, they have site, they have everywhere. Banana's harder.
Even in the newer version, you're saying banana's harder.
Yep.
Well, I think we've come miles on banana, but all right, Thorin gets the point. That's just how the show works. Sorry, Steel. I don't get to give reasoning anymore. That's not. How this works.
I mean, I could have my two
Yeah,
cents.
absolutely.
On
What you
banana.
got? What you got?
I like what they've done with banana. They made it wider, a little easier for the T's to kind of work it without one smoke, holding back the T's for like 20 seconds every time. You know how people chain smoke it one after another, and you literally have to wait a minute and a half before you can even execute.
Newsflash: it still happens.
It still happens, but it's not as bad. It's easier to work around it because one smoke, it's very hard to cover that entire gap with one smoke. So
yeah, listen, he likes what they've done with banana, making it wider, holding it off for 20 seconds, but then really working it. You know,
Yeah,
Bez just likes it. You see imagery.
You know, the smoking it off part. You know.
Yeah, you got to smoke.
It was a big problem before. It was a big problem before. It was like I don't like small choke points in CS:GO. I think it's cheesy. I think it's cheesy. I don't like it. I don't like small choke
right
points.
now.
It's a little too tight for banana right now, huh?
I like it bigger. You know, I like it bigger.
Oh my God. All right. This is taking a turn for the worst, as per expected. Please let us move right along to the next question, which is going to be, what top team should have grabbed Scream?
Okay, I'm just going to say G2.
What do I want for this?
I've already won, so it doesn't matter who you pick.
I'll maybe say Mouse Sports.
Okay. Who starts?
That's interesting. Okay, Josh, 30 seconds, go.
I'm going to use Thorin's logic against him. Earlier in the show, he was talking about how body was just a body. He was playing with like Smiths before. Scream deserves a shot on a top team. He needs a team to be built around him. G2 is that team. He can offer a lot more than body. Thorin's own words. So that's all I have to say. I don't even need these other 10 seconds.
Woo! Fucking destroyed. We'll just sit here and stare in silence.
All right, cool. Fine with me.
And that's enough of that. Okay, Thorin, 30 seconds. I hope you prepared an interesting argument because there's a good chance we know how this one plays out.
Okay, so the reason why I say Mouse Sports is because Mouse Sports just lost someone who's a mid-round type of player with immense rifle talent, and that they built the whole team around. Now that's Scream right there. He's someone who is very set in his ways. You have to give him his spots. He doesn't want to go in first. He'll go in like second or third. And basically you have to follow him up. And that's part of the reason why he's not in G2 right now. So actually, I think, bearing in mind they've lost Nico, that would be the obvious team that would be based around him. Whereas in G2, the roles didn't suit him. There's nothing left for him. Body plays off roles. Scream won't play that role.
Okay, well, once again, the clock ticked and he stopped talking. The Bears, let's get some insight from you.
Well, if Scream went to Mouse Sports, then he wouldn't even be in the scene anymore. So I don't think he would. I don't think that's a good fit for him.
What does that mean?
It means if he joins Mouse Sports, they're not going anywhere. It doesn't matter. Mouse Sports is gone. They have to have a roster revamp. You can't play with those people. I'm sorry. You can't do that. You can't.
Thorin, I can see you just squirming in your seat, ready to say something back. I'm
just
going to let
don't
you do
know
it.
any of that
Say
means.
it. Say it. What you got?
That doesn't even make sense to Bears. They literally, with one man, were able to get to the top placings at all these tournaments and make playoffs and have competition. Guess what? Scream can do that. Scream had the sort of stats where he could be that superstar player and carry the. I realize Dennis and Spiddy are little bitch asses, but he can carry a bitch ass. Okay, he's like one of those guys from Norway who throws their wife. That's what he can do with Spiddy and Dennis. He's a strong man.
You just said that. That Nico had to carry them.
Why are you arguing against me?
Scream? Why would you want Scream to carry him? I'm just telling you that.
Because I'd rather he carried there than made G2 worse, which is Steele's suggestion. I don't know. Why aren't you attacking that? Why'd you like that move?
Because that was your argument earlier in the show.
It seems more reasonable that.
Listen, okay. Bring it back down to earth. Save a little bit of energy. We got to move forward. Obviously, Steele gets the point.
Obviously.
Thorin, your logic has worked against you.
Well, it's because the judge is corrupt.
Hold on. That's up for debate as well. We will ask that question on a later episode. But we will move forward for the time being to the next question.
Fair enough. Yeah.
The best North American opera.
Fucking hell.
Faces were like, oh my God.
Here's the question.
I haven't answered, but does Maxwell count?
Does that mean people who are just in the region? That's the question.
Yes. If they're playing in North American leagues, if they're playing in NA EPL.
Fallen.
Okay. I will say, yeah, I'll take Mixwell.
Okay, Fallen versus Mixwell. The age-old debate. Just kidding. All right. 30 seconds. Steele, go for it.
I was going to pick Mixwell first, which was sounding like an obvious choice. But when I found out that Brazilians were allowed in this mix, I picked Fallen because he can do it all. He's a talented opper. He has loads of results behind him, but he's also the in-game leader, and he can also pick up a rifle, which is what a lot of oppers can't do. And when you're just like, you just can't do multiple things, you can only op, you really hold the team back. It's like JDM kind of, in a way. Fallen can do it all.
Fallen can do it all. Thorin, 30 seconds. Let's get your
Okay,
side.
so Mixwell played for a much worse team than Fallen, but actually was able to win a massive event, E-League Season 2. He's been a star player within his lineup, really revitalized them. He has all-around skills himself, but primarily as an AWP, he's very, very good. At the moment, Fallen, since they've brought Fox and then they brought Phelps now into the team, has really given up a lot of the AWP. He hasn't looked as good on maps. He's actually had some quite bad stats. So it's seeming like the past isn't really relevant. This is the present. Mixwell is still the better AWPer at this moment.
All right. The Bears, what do you got for me?
I think you should have went with your first answer of Mixwell because I think he is the better opera now. Fallen was better months ago. He's kind of fallen off a little bit, but that falling off a little bit gives Mixwell the edge.
You know what, DeBears, you're a hell of a judge of character.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You know what? In my almighty corruptness, I'm gonna go with Thorin on this one. Because I mean, well, you know what? Who cares? Thorin's getting the point. That's the way it works.
I think Josh made a better point on the complete player, Fallen.
That's not really relevant to AWPer though. So
yeah, if we're doing strictly AWPing, Mixwell.
He did have a really good argument there, but not today. All right. Best in-game leader right now, Fallen or Glaive?
Glaive.
Josh,
do I have to say anything?
I mean, you have to say the answer, right? So
no, I mean we do know what you picked. Okay,
Fallen.
so Thorn's gonna have Glaive. You're gonna have Fallen. Defending your sides, Duncan, you go first. 30 seconds on the clock. Go.
okay, so Glaive took literally the exact 4-man core that Carrigan had before and was barely even able to get out of group stages with, wasn't making no impact in big best of threes against top 10 ranked teams. He took them, he started competing with all the best teams, then beating all the best teams. He won a major with that very same foursome of players that Carrigan was unable to. He turned Device into maybe the best player in the whole world. He brought someone like Kirby through, was not just a talent, but the MVP of the final of the major. I think you have to give it up to Glaive as this guy turned his system around, made the best team.
I think you're out of time.
All right, Mr. Nassan, 30
Always
seconds
counting.
on the clock.
Always counting.
Okay.
Shut
the So Fallen's actually had a really long period of time going back at least a couple of years where he's actually taken this team that had nothing basically in Brazil and then turned them into a world-class team that's not only just been like at the top 4 for the last 2 years, but like they're continuing to be at that level. Glaive, all we know about him is he's better than Kerrigan as an in-game leader, but we don't know how bad of an in-game leader Kerrigan is. Look at FaZe.
Can I rebuttal?
No, you're out of time.
I mean, honestly, DeBears can give his insight, but
okay, yeah, DeBears, come on, jump in, mate.
I think Fallen is a better one because he's been in it for a lot longer than Glaive.
Definitely not true, of course, but okay.
Well, I mean that's what we've seen.
Whoa,
Last research is you're with Glaive and Astralis, all right? That was your point.
No,
Fallen
definitely
had the same core with his SK, Luminosity, complexity, like whatever. He's been a leader for so long. He's been towards the top for a really long time, and so I think Fallen is the better in-game leader.
Large sample size. It's simple statistics.
Yes.
I mean, except that's not, but okay.
You know, I see a different side of Thorin today. I feel like I've never personally seen, and it's great. I'm thoroughly enjoying this.
Okay.
I'm also going to thoroughly enjoy giving this point to Steel.
Okay.
And that's just what we're going to do. Fallen being the better IGL. That's
so
just
basically
the
real question wasn't
move
even.
On now.
The real question was, does
so,
DeBears know who Copenhagen Wolves are? He doesn't, so I lose. Cheers.
Actually, it was Western Wolves.
Yeah, true. It was Western Wolves,
right,
but you just made the point for me, so you need.
The ship has sailed. And
I already got
question,
the point, so it doesn't matter.
The next question,
not Source.
Hey,
I don't know.
Hey, everyone relax.
Definitely wasn't Source.
We all know that.
Oh,
we all know Source
CSGO.
was a real game.
Right.
Okay.
The Gadget Show, I remember.
God. All right. Winner of the next question is taking it home, and this is actually going to be a really fun one. I think for Thorin, if you had the power to make a roster move, what player on Navi do you replace?
I don't even know the roster.
I think I would take Edward. Do I have to say I would replace him with?
I mean, that would, further the argument. So yes.
Okay. I would replace Edward with I mean, I can do anything, so I'll put Zeus back in the team.
And Mr. Nassan, who is your choice?
I'll replace Guardian with I'll put Zeus back in the team.
Well,
can I do that?
You know what? Why not? 30 seconds. Steel, I want you to give me just the most compelling, big, veiny answer you got.
Okay, since the acquisition of Simple, they still haven't had the results, and it's because I believe their in-game leader situation, they really need some more structure behind the team. They really need mid-game decisions, and I think Zeus will provide that like he did in the past, especially with how he's performing lately in Gambit. Simple can pick up the role of the Opper that Guardian hasn't really been, that they've been sharing duties with, and Guardian hasn't really been putting up the performance that he used to or needs to.
Okay, and Duncan, let's see what you got, man. Okay, so Seized was one of the game's best support players. So if we take out Edward, he's not really necessary for the team anymore if we bring Zeus back. That's the supportive core. We've got Simple already. Guardian can just be an AWPer, which he definitely can currently do. The problem with bringing Zeus back and having Zeus and Seized and Simple is too many rages in that scenario, like it's going to be more dangerous if we take out Guardian, because actually Guardian was one of the more calming forces in the team. He wasn't a guy who talked a lot, couldn't speak Russian actually very well. So I feel like you get a more of a calming presence and the better in-game lead aspect that Josh definitely made a good point about there.
What? The Bears, did you hear what I just heard?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Together.
Okay. So basically, what just happened was, I think I heard, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, Duncan just kind of conceded his
Definitely didn't. What I said was that what I did is I took Josh's only good part, made it part of my answer, and then combined it with another half that was even better and explained why the other half of his was terrible. So
Better,
I actually,
subjectively.
I mean, if that's for other people to decide, if they heard correctly.
Well, it's just,
and I trust that they do, because I know that this is a very fair council of people who understand what's said. They stop, they rethink what's being said, and then they ask, was it me who was wrong? Was it them who was wrong? Who knows?
Alternative facts is what we like to call it here in the States.
Very fake news.
Very fake news. Very fake news. I mean, they both make...
Think, Baz, think.
They both make pretty good points. I mean, it's... Sometimes I do think
we share
Edward...
the same point, so...
I sometimes think that Edward is the weaker player, but then he pulls out ridiculous clutch rounds, and it's like...
Never happened.
Do you need him for those kind of rounds? Do you need him for those kind of rounds? You know, like...
Not.
But they have a lot of close matches, and he win like this random 1-on-3s. Oh.
What does Guardian win?
Lately, he hasn't won that much. I mean,
exactly. Wait, isn't that my point? Replacing
and then
him
Guardian,
was my point.
Yeah, Guardian has been kind of. It's a big loss for them, but again, Guardian, he has a wife, he's engaged, and that might hinder his performance. You know, I'm
Zeus has a child. I made that up, actually. I made that up. I can't even try.
I mean, I'd say, you know, maybe Guardian's in the worst state right now. I don't know.
I mean, if I were fighting, I'll let you decide the point first, and then I'll chip in something after.
You know what? I think I want to hear a little bit more.
That sounds like a threat there, Stunner. I mean,
no,
it does.
It's not to defend myself. That's the thing.
Okay.
It's not to defend myself.
Okay, so defend your point a little bit more. I want to hear a little bit more from both sides. This is the deal breaker, because this be the one where we send Thorin off, is what I want to hear.
Okay, but this is the thing. Not only did Thorin, in his argument for bringing Zeus on, kind of side with me on that and share a lot of the same points, but he also said, what has Guardian done for the team in defense of what has Edward done for the team? And the point is, Guardian hasn't really been doing anything for the team. And we used to see Flamey picking up the op. We have Simple with the op now. So we still have two. We have an op and a hybrid. What was lacking was like a solid in-game leader. And it's like, you can have these, you have the performance of Simple and Flamey and Edward, and C's puts up numbers too. Edward puts up numbers. I don't like, compared to Guardian, what's Edward's performance like? Thorin, it's probably in your head somewhere.
I mean, Edward's a support player, mate. So I don't know why you're going so hard with that. That's kind of my point, is that if you bring in Zeus, when he was in Na'Vi, was a terrible player. Like, he's only good for the in-game leading aspect. So we bring him in, we got to balance it out. So you can't have three players playing a supportive style and C's Edward and Zeus. That leaves only Flamey and Simple. We've already seen, like, you'd need them both to go off like every game to have any firepower there. It's kind of a bad scenario. So I'm saying instead, I take out Edward, I go a little bit lighter on the sports side, and now I try and work with the superstar aspect. Now, the reason why Guardian stays in, it's nothing to do with Guardians though. It's the fact that he stays silent. He's a quiet aspect. So I want to balance out the rages. I don't want to have 4 rages all crammed in next to each other like some steel cage deathmatch, like this group chat here.
That's 2 good points right there. Gosh, that's a tough one. I mean, Thorin just made a good point about the rage aspect, the mental game, and Seal made a good point about Guardian. Like, if Edward was to leave the support role, what makes you think he cannot be a good fragger? Because he's so focused on support, he's so focused on being a team player. Like, we haven't seen fragger Edward in a while. So I mean, how do we know?
Is that a question? Is that a question to me?
It's a question. It's a question.
Okay. Is it one of those questions we answer? Because actually we did see Edward try to be a star player early on in CSGO for like a year and a half. He failed, and that's why he resigned himself to being kind of the bitch role in Na'Vi. So I feel like history's played out.
It's a whole different game. It's a whole different game now. That was like Source 2.0 when it first came out. Now it's more of a hybrid of 1.6/Source.
I don't really like the way the jury keeps continually calling CSGO Source 2.0. I feel like that should be like a point. Detract the point from Bears. Remove his point.
At this point, Eric has nothing to lose. I don't even know if we can take a point away from him, but if we can, you know, why not? Damn it. All right, so it's come down to this, and I feel like obviously the choice is to bring I don't know. The point is going to go to, man. Steele wants it, right? Ooh, he wants it. You know what? Eric, pick. I'm not picking. I'm leaving.
I'm gonna lean towards Steele. I'm sorry.
I don't hear a little bias in that answer at all.
No,
Okay.
I'm serious. It's not biased. It's not biased.
I see it. Listen, I see how it is, Bez. I understand. You got to get your boy over here.
Here's
fair play.
my main.
Okay.
Here's the
Listen,
main
we all need
thing.
friends. I get it. We need friends.
Here's the
Just get
main
your friend.
thing.
Okay.
The main thing is I like the idea of Simple going to straight opping, and because with Guardian, if he doesn't have an op in his hand. Like he was carrying Navi for a little bit when they had the run. He was opping.
Okay.
When he's not opping, they're not doing anything. And lately, he kind of hasn't been doing that much.
Okay.
So that's the reason.
All I'm hearing is, NA is catching a lot of L's. They're not even qualifying for majors. So you got to get one over the European somehow. So listen, you guys do it. You railroad me. You Shanghai me. Whatever you need to do to feel good about yourselves. Okay, I accept it. Listen, I won't fight back.
That was a hard one, but I told you it's just a little, you put a little lemon pepper on his chicken. Okay, that's what got me.
I don't know what that really means.
Sounds good though. I like lemon pepper wings. That's not a bad choice. But taking the L today is going to be Thorin, and we also took that point away from Eric. So you lost your only point. It just kind of happens, man. I don't really control those things.
At least that happened then. At least he got his punishment in the end for what he's done.
All right. So taking the L is going to be Thorin and the Bears. Josh, Steele, Nassan, we'll mail you the check for winning the show. I want to thank you for coming on. You know what? Since you won, I want to give you the floor for shout outs and any sort of trash talk banter you'd also like to extend their way. Or, you could go my way too, but I'd appreciate it if you did.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
Oh, shit. I'm kidding.
I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/JoshNissanCS. I have a Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Steele_TV. I'd like to say to all the C9 fans out there, I didn't mean anything by what I said.
I see how it is. Okay.
I think that the team is a lot of great players who are really hungry to win. And I was only arguing against that to win points on the show.
Wow.
Thorin, well played again. It was great. Lots of fun, like always.
Okay.
Can't wait to do it again.
Outstanding. All right, Thorin, go for it.
What? In life, it's not about whether you're right, because it's about whether people in society are willing to let you be right. If their minds are so twisted and warped by Trump's America that they're willing to hate people who come from other countries, they're not willing to let an immigrant succeed in America nowadays off the back of his own merits and his own actual heart and spirit, trying to make something in his country when he has an O1 visa and there's no travel ban on him whatsoever, then I don't know really what to say right now. I'm just saying, would the founding fathers have agreed with the outcome of this show? I don't know.
We're the children. We're the children of Great Britain.
There's no children involved in my life.
We're the children of Great Britain.
Deny all those rumors, Bez.
We come from your guys' yoke. That's who we are. That's how we play the game.
Yeah, you should have been a blowjob.
Jesus.
Oh shit. All right. Well,
that's cannibalism.
We're turning this bad boy off right now. I want to thank you all for coming out. I hope you had a good time. This has been a great episode. I look forward to seeing everybody come back. And you know what? GG. Have fun. See you guys later.
See you guys.
Peace.
Peace.